In the upper right, folks, in the blue, he is the Serral Slayer. His ZVZ is looking incredible. For Team NV, DRG.
And his opponent, spawning down in the bottom left for Team Liquid. One of the two remaining Polish players, can he rally and give himself a chance in this group? It is Elazer. And you raise a really great point about the game being a little different and not entirely figured out. If you ask most of the pros, they say, okay, not a lot changed. But there are some things that did change. There are some timings that are now different, maybe styles that are viable that weren't viable before, styles that were viable that are no longer viable. We're going to see some very interesting tweaks over the coming months, but for now, players don't have anything. Well, that's not true. They don't have some new things figured out. So we've even seen an evolution of the TVT meta already, where some players are saying, you know what, I don't want to build as many Ravens. We've seen Maru adjusting by adding Liberators into his late game composition in addition to those Ravens. We're just seeing a lot of evolution. And in those situations, players like your DRG, like your Solar, well, I guess a little bit less so Solar, like your Elazer, like your Ragnarok, kind of these ground and pound, less spellcaster focused Zerg players trying to win a little bit earlier in the game, maybe mid game, later stages of the mid game, early late game. They're going to do a lot better. And we're seeing that already reflected in the group standings.
Yeah, and Steadfast is also interesting. Last thought here before we really start talking about this series. Serral, his late game dominance in part is his incredible Viper control, always winning the Viper abduct battles, making that happen. Vipers were nerfed pretty severely here. You can't double abduct anymore. You cannot rely on those razor edge trades. And we saw that happen, right, in the late game, in that game that DRG won game 2. So, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But for now, this is a different ZVZ. This is not likely going to go to that late game. And if it does, that'd be kind of cool. Third base on the way for both sides. For now, it is a pretty mirrored matchup. That being said, of course, Elazer, he's opting for the Baneling Nest early. Is this something DRG goes for as well?
Almost certainly. These maps, the third base is so far away, especially on a map like Ancient Cistern, which, by the way, everyone is called the green map because it's green. And honestly, for me, I think it's my favorite map. I'm a little bit disappointed to hear that some of the pros are not a big fan of it, but it is very far away from the third. And the natural, while you can wall here, and there's actually a lot of room behind the edge of the creep to like wall back to your base if you do get speedling flooded, it's still not a comfy map to try and go for a 2-base play. And man, we got to talk about this. Elazer's put a lot of damage into this hatchery. Lane speed will complete here for DRG. He's going to get the jump on a couple lanes, but it looks like Elazer will be able to get out of there. That's kind of nice. Both players building just a small swell of lings, but neither one of them dropping a Baneling. Usually when you go for this, like, you know, 6 to 8 to 10 ling setup, one player or both players even usually drops at least one Baneling in order to make sure that, you know, they're secure, that they don't die to anything. But oh, there it is. There's that safety Baneling coming in from DRG. But it's very interesting that neither one of them does that, and it kind of attests to the fact that they're living on the edge, you know?
Steadfast, yeah, living on the edge very much so, but also living on the edge in terms of builds. Is Elazer starting to flood a couple lings here. Lings and or Banelings morphing in both sides. The one on the left, I think, is in DRG's division.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. DRG deputizes over, but I don't think he knows about the position on the right. And as the Elazer starts to move forward, that's a lot of lings that he's made. So Banelings, they're going to try to find their way into the third. Not a lot of drones here, actually, but DRG's not paying attention. So they're going to get 4 workers. Ooh. You'd like to see more. Of course, there's just nothing there, as lings are going to try to find a next couple. So 5, 6 workers are going to go down. Careful of the Banelings here, Elazer. You got to be careful. The Banelings, two of them go down on not all that much. And this is a lot of pressure coming on in from the Polish Zerg. Queens are going to start to fall. And honestly, 5 workers, 2 queens. If you get out with the rest of the lings, that is worth doing. Behind this, it's 2 gas. It's a lair very quickly, but I'm getting a little worried about the timing coming out from DRG soon enough. His lair is slow, but his +1 range is very fast.
It is very fast, but he lost 2 of his 3 queens, which means his injects are significantly delayed. He's not rebuilding the queen either. He started 2 in the main, and then he canceled it in order to start this layer, and he is going to push this back from Elazer for sure. But Elazer will get the much faster layer. The main problem right now for Elazer is the fact he does not have an Evo, and DRG's already got this +1 missile done, basically. So that's a rather scary situation. We are going to see a bit of an attack coming on forward. This might be you better not be going Muta's attack and hoping to kind of punish the potential of that. Elazer says, uh-oh, I might die here. Wait, did he just cancel? He just canceled his Evo in order to build a spine. Oh, this is actually really bad for him right here. But as I say that, 11 Banelings morphing on in. And this is looking very scary right now for Elazer. DRG, uh-oh. He might just break through right here. It's going to come down to the Banelings, I think.
Yeah, he's just going for it to the Banelings. They come trundling forward on top of the Queens, the Roaches, ideally getting back to where the spines are, but even still, it forces all the Lings back. So these Roaches with +1, these superior Roaches, they can take the fight. Even still, the Banelings don't get the connections they need. Ravagers morph, but it's 14 seconds. It takes too long, and Elazer holds on despite the tech disadvantage. Well, his lair's done now. He's getting Roach speed on the way. Actually, DRG was droning through a large part of that, so he is up a couple workers. But look at the army supplies here. Elazer, he has freedom. He can either drone a lot on this supply lead. He can actually start to build a bunch of work or a bunch of Roaches as well, run across the map. But for now, it's going to be link counterattack. A couple more drones will go down. Regardless of where he goes, though, Elazer's in a great spot.
Oh, he's in a phenomenal spot right now. DRG, I said that there was kill potential there, but Elazer handled that so brilliantly. While the Lings were not able to contribute to the fight, he was able to prevent the Banelings from getting any big connections, and that was a big investment in resources. Resources lost is 600, almost now 700 in favor of Elazer, and a lot of that is gas, which is a pretty huge deal in this matchup. The big difference, and it is a pretty big one, is the fact that Elazer is down an entire upgrade timing. So his Roaches are going to be much less efficient during the fights. The Lings of DRG are going to be effective for a decent bit of additional time, whereas for Elazer, they probably shouldn't be able to get much done at all. As I say that, I actually do find this base rather exposed, and well, considering the fact that his opponent has +1 missile, being able to get even a drone pull is actually more than you'd expect here. But we got to talk about something else. Elazer, he's going to take advantage with the tech, going for the Spire.
Yeah, I really like this coming in from Elazer. Your Roaches are down. You're not going to have that fighting strength for quite a while. But if you go into Mutas, and by the way, this is, he got this when 6 gas was going down. It actually really doesn't tell you all that much. But if you, regardless, if this is mass Mutas, if this is just the 8, it forces DRG to react and not spend his money just on this massive Roach Ball that will have those upgrades. So when you're behind, when your tech is not in the best position, sorry, not you're behind, but when your tech's not in the best position, you go for something else. You force a synchronous gameplay. You don't give your opponent the same win conditions you're going to have. As Banelings find their way in, 12 workers go down. I did not see those coming in.
I didn't see them at all. I didn't see them on the minimap. There was no dropper lord, I don't think. They just walked right in, and the Roaches were not in position. That's a huge find right there for DRG. But he isn't pushing as the Mutas are being built. And part of the reason is this little Ling counterattack. DRG, he won't be able to take advantage of this +2 timing. Well, actually, hang on. With a small number of Mutas, it does take a long time to kill Roaches. So DRG might be able to get a kill on this 4th base. Defender's advantage for Elazer, and a good concave could be the solution. But speaking of good concaves, that's a really great one from DRG to start things off. The Queens will be able to provide transfuse behind this. There is an upgrade lead, though, for DRG. I don't think he's got the numbers, though. The transfuse is going to help a lot. Now we see the target fire coming in on the Ravagers in the back line. Good job so far in the defense from Elazer, and I think he is slowly but surely going to, well, just clean up everything, actually. It's not slowly or surely at all. It is slowly and absolutely. Quickly and absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You look at this. Yes, +2 is powerful. Steadfast. But those 8 Mutas on top, they effectively give Elazer's Roaches +2. With all the glaives bouncing around and the damage they get done, it's just enough that the Roaches, they get softened up. And it meant that fight went a lot better for Elazer than it otherwise would have. And then, of course, your Ravagers, they don't have any longevity. They drop one set of bios, then they're all dead. In fact, it probably would have been better if DRG hadn't built the Ravagers at all. It's 100 gas each. They cost as much as a Muta at the end of the day, and they're just not nearly as effective there. They get knocked out of the fight. So Elazer gets damage done early. He holds on against the all-in, and despite the significant upgrade disadvantage, he's able to find a game 1 victory, which now, well, first of all, that's good news for Cyril, right? If DRG won this series, and specifically if he won 2-0, it would have been a very difficult situation for Cyril to make it out, even if he did end up 3-2 in series. The other thing, though, is there's a path for Elazer out of this group. If he does not drop a single map from here on out, he still has a shot. Well, that's a good start.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very narrow shot, but it is a shot. And at the World Championship, you take every chance you can find. And if he wins out here, it's like not even that unrealistic. He does have to 2-0 Cyril tomorrow, and that's a big ask. But beyond that, all he has to ask for is special losing to hero. That's not too far-fetched. That's a reasonable thing. So for the most part, he actually kind of controls his destiny. Should we remake?
I don't. We can't. We don't have the.
Fair enough.
We don't have the power. Folks, we're gonna get into game number 2 now. Does DRG have what it takes to dash Elazer's dreams here? Or is Elazer gonna put it all on the line for 2-0 against Cyril tomorrow? And the bottom left, upper left, folks, in the teal. He is for Team NV, DRG.
And his opponent keeping his hopes alive by just a thread, but still keeping them alive nonetheless. It is Team Liquid's Elazer. This is actually particularly interesting because Cyril is rooting for Elazer in this series. He has to. He's got no choice. But it will then come down to him being able to beat Elazer tomorrow in order to make sure that he does advance. You know, like this is a really funny situation here. I cannot believe how messy this group is, and it's so exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, no, the best part about this, by the way, we've been talking about how insane Group C is. The prospect of a Cyril not even in the playoffs as the defending world champion just boggles the mind. Well, the best part about this Katowice, and I don't know how much we can attribute it to the fact that players have a lot more time to prep for specific players because they only play 2 series a day, whatever it is, the new patch. Every group, well, not Group D, but every other group is just absolutely a toss-up. There are more players that can potentially get out of every single group, well, again, outside of Group D, than there are spots. What it means is, of course, we do have these games we're playing right now, but it means the, whatever it is, the 12 series that are going to get played tomorrow, they're going to be a lot of fun because they will matter so much.
Yeah, and even the Group D, which does have the 3 playoff spots confirmed, it doesn't have a guarantee on who will win the group. We do still have first, second, and third place technically all being contended. Now, I think the chances of Hero Marine winning the group at this point are extremely low, but it's technically still possible. So any of the 3 can still win that group, and that's really neat. For now, let's talk about this game a little bit. We are going to be seeing the quick Baneling Nest out of Elazer. Vertical base from Elazer. Pocket third for DRG. Once again, I mean, we're going to be expecting to see a little bit of Ling Bane play to get into the mid game just as a safety play. I wonder if Elazer might make the adjustment, get the faster Evo for that faster +1 missile, or if we're going to see anything a little bit weird, maybe with some fast Carapace timings. But usually that quick Baneling Nest means unlikely.
I gotta say, Steadfast, I know you were talking about, oh yeah, of course they're gonna go, you know, because the third base is far away, but they're gonna go for Baneling Nest because that third base is far away. But in all honesty, the mirrored Baneling Nest in ZVZ seems like it's not something we get all that much because, well, going for some sort of early roach play, something like that, is actually really powerful, and it seems to be in the meta for the most part, or has been in the meta for the most part, specifically for these Korean players. They'll try to skip the bailing nest, get a bunch of roaches, and go for something a little bit, earlier in the timing. And that's a great scout there from DRG. Sees what's in the main base. Sees 3 out of 3 drones on gas. Normally it's going to be a 2 at this point, but of course no lair on the way. So that, as I say that though, that's a pretty quick lair.
Yeah, but not only that, he sees drones popping out of the eggs. That's the golden scout, you know? You get to know, okay, I am good to keep droning. I don't need to build spines. I don't need to do anything crazy. He even sees the Roach Warren start. You did mention, yeah, the layer comes on down after he leaves. I like that decision from Elazer. Why give your opponent information when you can keep them in the dark? And it seems like DRG, seems like he's a bit of a fan maybe in this matchup right now, at least versus Elazer, of delaying his own layer a little bit, and that's a little bit surprising. Meanwhile, he is building a lot of overlords. I wonder if he's going to go for another big timing. How much larva does he have? He's got
That's fast.
5 larva. Yeah, he's going to go for some more aggression.
That's fast. Look at the gas count here. That was a quick layer coming in from Elazer. He's going up to 5. He's going up to 6 gas before the 5-minute mark. This is a Muta play coming in from Elazer right now, and it is a greedy as hell one. So we're going to have to see whether he's going to be able to survive. That's a great bailing connection, but 8 workers go down in the third. That's actually
2 great bailing connections.
Yeah, but that's not all that bad. When you're talking about an early Muta play like this, it's all about getting up to 6 gas. Realistically, your mineral count at the third doesn't matter all that much. It's all about getting the gas count. It's all getting as many mutas as possible for first glance. But here's the problem. DRG moving out on roaches right now before lair is done. It's just a roachling bane timing, and there are no spines on the way. You need to get those spines started immediately once you scout this out. And Elazer, he hasn't even started them. Yes, he has a roach warren, but steadfast, I worry those are going to be too late.
I think they just might be, and he is not building spines right now. Elazer needs spine crawlers, in my opinion. There we go. He drops 2 spines now, but I think he's underestimated this attack. And I said it in game number 1. The attack that DRG was going for was a Muta check. And you know what? DRG does the exact same attack in game number 3 and game number 2. And this time his opponent is going for those Mutas. And in this particular case, well, this is going to be a dead third base almost for sure. The Spire has finished, but he doesn't have money for the mutas. He's trying to get out enough ground units to contest this. He is really exposed behind all this. Oh, the wrap around the queens. Idiot queens. They got the roaches trapped in with them. And now we are going to see DRG. He sees the spines in the natural. He's going to back away. But he starts up +1 Carapace. That's going to be great against the Mutalisks. And oh, Elazer should have canceled those roaches. He's going to lose them as well. This is a huge lead for DRG. And these mutas from Elazer are going to need to do so much more than you can reasonably ask of them.
Oh, and they can't, because the mutas cannot move onto the map now. They cannot do the counterattack. They cannot do they have to help you defend right here. And as the Lings, the Roaches, the Ravagers, they find their way on in. One spine is getting low. It's going to go down. Second bile, well, second spine is going to get pretty low as well. And as the workers continue, the mutas just can't do enough, Steadfast. It's just not going to happen. 12, 13 workers go down. Elazer on 35 drones. He's down an army supply. In fact, the Spire might even go down. Here's the Roaches. They beeline right on top of it. So the 1 tech lead, the one little bit of a hope, a dream that Elazer had in this game number 2 is dashed like the Spire goes down. And at this point, I mean, Elazer is still in this game. He is not left just yet because, again, his advancement is on the line. But the amount of stuff he has to do with these mutas he will not be able to remake is an impossible amount.
Yeah, he is so far behind in the workers. And at this point, with him having lost his third, I think the correct call. Now, it's so difficult to make this choice because you do not expect an opponent to overdrone in a situation like this. But I think what he should have done is just gone non-stop unit production and just gone for it. Just absolutely go for it. Hope and pray that you can somehow maybe break through, because that was a pretty dedicated attack from DRG. And especially, I was going to say it, I do not like the idea of him attacking into the natural with 2 spines, that much roach, and the mutas out. But obviously it worked out from an economic perspective, as DRG is far ahead, 20 workers and a base ahead. But I think the only opportunity really for Elazer was to try and all in. Now, I think since he's not all-inning, he needed to do something kind of like maybe silly, like a bit of an NA special, and just go for instant lurkers. I think he had to do that. But even if he had, DRG is looking for that right now. I think he's scouting to make sure, like, okay, do you have anything you're not supposed to right now? Are you being too greedy? And the answer is no, but that just means that Elazer stays super far behind.
Yeah, in fairness, Steadfast, muta into lurker has been a thing in the past. It has actually been the dominant way to play at certain times, but that is a meta that was a long time ago. That is when hiveless lurkers were actually much better than they are. So yeah, +2 is on the way here, coming in from DRG. In fact, he's got roach speed, he's got hydra speed, he already has hydra range. Maybe if Elazer had like triple expanded or something ridiculous. I do want to talk about though that idea of just Elazer all-inning across the map. He didn't have the production for it, right? You lose the hatch like that. He'd already spent a lot of his larva on units that died. He was down upgrades. This is probably, it's still a, 5% chance to win this game. This is probably a higher percentage play, even as it just really feels horrible. Because again, there was a 0% chance that he runs across the map and kills his opponent. Maybe here he can keep his opponent back far enough that something happens. Again, unlikely, but it's a better shot than running across the map, at least as far as I can tell.
In my opinion, the game going longer makes it without going for those lurkers. If he goes for the lurkers, I actually don't mind the move too much. But with him going for the lurkers and just trying to catch up and be like, okay, my muta harass is going to carry me today. And to be fair to Elazer, he may have thought that was a more dedicated attack than it was. So he may have thought that he could catch up in macro a little bit more easily. So like, and by a little bit more easily, I mean he wouldn't have needed to do as much. But I feel like it was maybe, you know, like a 5% chance to win with the counterattack, maybe even less than that. But I feel like with this, if DRG executes correctly, it's like a 0% chance, you know? Like, I don't think DRG is going to eat the biles. This is so much Roach Hydra. They've got the speed. They've got 2-1 upgrades versus 0-0. The concave is great, and DRG will take down Elazer, and he will, I think, now put the final nail in the coffin on Elazer's chances.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that eliminates Elazer. And what a game to get eliminated. What a gamble to get eliminated on. You need to win every game from here on out, and you gamble for 3 base, like, it was like 60 drones as he dropped the Spire. The greediest build you could possibly go for in this matchup, and you just hope DRG doesn't hit you with the timing when he has been going for these roach timings. Like, that's just one of the things he does. I understand like you play maybe against the way your opponent's perspective of you, but you play against expectations. But that was just insanely greedy to the point where it almost didn't make sense.
I mean, the thing is, I get it though. I completely get it from DRG's perspective, or sorry, from Elazer's perspective, because your opponent just did the exact thing that he did the counter to the build that you now do. So you're thinking to yourself, that just fell on its face. There's no way he does the same attack, the exact same attack like that again. So I actually don't blame Elazer for, you know, expecting that DRG is going to deviate from a build that failed, because what is the textbook definition of insanity? It is doing the same thing, repeating the same thing and expecting different results. So I don't blame Elazer for thinking that DRG is going to do something different. However, it backfired in the biggest way possible, and it ends up with Elazer losing that mind game very hard. Big shame, and it's a rough way to get knocked out.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we'll talk about that more in a second, folks, because our third and final game of this series and final game of the day is ready. Royal Blood, a much shorter map for Game 3. And the bottom left, folks, in the blue. The same idea 2 games in a row, but it worked the second time for Team NV, DRG.
And his opponent, spawning up at the top right for Team Liquid. He's still playing for seeding. He still wants to get that money, get that bag. It is Team Liquid's Elazer.
Steadfast, you talked about the build, right? Why in the world would DRG go for the same idea, especially when it didn't work in game 1? But those Banelings at the third, those were the trigger, right? He got 8 workers, sure, but more importantly, he saw the double cast on the third base. There is nothing. It's before 5 minutes. There is no other build that gets 2 gas that early in his ZVZ. You know it's Mutas. So that was around the time he was thinking about getting a lair. That was around the time he would have been going for something that would have developed his tech. And instead, yeah, you see how greedy your opponent's being. You scout it. Of course you're going to go for the Muta check.
The thing is, I actually don't think, I think he had already decided to go for that build. And that was just like the confirmation, like, okay, it's right to commit, because he did build a bunch of overlords all at once. He didn't get that super fast layer and cancel it. He just went. He just said, full send, I'm going. You're not going to stop me. That's it. By the way, we see something a little bit interesting out of DRG. I don't know. Did I just imagine that? I think I just imagined that. Was there? Okay, I thought it said 15 of 16. He transferred an extra drone down to the natural. He transferred an extra drone down to the natural, right? I think I'm crazy, but. Yes? No?
Honestly, I looked away.
Okay, I think I'm going, I don't know, blind in my old age or something. The main thing here is that DRG. Oh wait, what the? Do you see this? Did you see that? Okay, there was like a visual bug on the queen there for a second. DRG did not continue to mine with 2 on gas. He only went for 1, so his Baneling nest is a little bit later, but not a huge deal. Overall, will be the same opener from both players, back to back to back. Elazer, ooh, does get the, and yeah, actually Elazer gets the much better fight there. However, DRG is able to kill one of his opponent's Zerglings, so he doesn't end up with a 1-for-0 trade, and you know, he still will take a little bit of damage on this hatch. So that's kind of nice for Elazer, but I mean, it's small potatoes early on.
Yeah, we've been talking about these ideas of Muta checks, right? The timing, hope he didn't go Mutas. But this is just an APM check, same idea. It's just the annoying notification on your third base. Your base is being attacked. Okay, well, thank you. It's 1 link, I don't care. But there's a chance it might distract. DRG messed with him a little bit. For now, though, again, these are mirrored builds. And I don't think we're going to see Elazer go for something for what he did in game number 2. I mean, maybe it's highly unlikely that DRG goes for the same build 3 times in a row, but are you willing to bet your series on it?
Well, I've got something pretty big here. Okay, there is a player named Targa from the eons ago. This is a big 2-gas Ling Bane all in. This is a huge commitment right here, a huge dedication. This is just going to be DRG saying, hold me or don't, but I am going to try and kill you right now with Ling Bane. The Banelings at the third base, one of them will get barely canceled. The other one does complete. Nice wall at the natural. Oh, Baneling, okay, is looking for the Lings. Gets an okay connection, not great. Couple of Banelings hitting on the queen, not exactly ideal, but we are going to see the Banelings getting canceled here. And DRG, he is probably going to kill his base. Already 6 drones going down. He's going to get, nice last second split. And actually, there's enough Lings here. Pretty decent Baneling connection for Elazer. Elazer might be able to hold this third off of a little bit of miss micro from DRG, but actually, no, not even close. There's no Lings left. Yeah, this is a dead base. And now behind us, DRG, he's just going to be ahead.
Yeah, dead base, dead queens, dead banes, dead everything. And okay, Lings are going to try to find these queens as they move forward, but with the broodlings there, you got to back up. Maybe there's room to reinforce now, but at this point, it seems like DRG's backing up. And by the way, Steadfast, he realized he got as much damage done as he needed to. He's droning up. There are 4 overlords on the way. And what do 4 overlords mean? It means a ton of roaches on the production queue. So yes, DRG, yeah, he droned up a little bit, got himself to 43. That is not where this aggression is stopping. 10 roaches are on the way. Banelings are morphing in on the left side. At least I think that's where they're coming. Yeah, Banelings morphing in on the left side. DRG, he does not want Elazer to come back into this game. He does not want to give him the opportunity. These roaches, these banes, they're going to try to put an end to this game.
Well, I actually think these roaches, for now at least for DRG, are going to be mostly defensive in nature, because he did see the roach warren for his opponent, and he's worried about a potential attack. It could turn into a counterattack. I actually did get supply block there a little bit. Oh, the Banelings, very sneaky. Oh, Baneling's into the natural. They get 5 drones right there by DRG. Very nice. Sorry, I knocked something off my desk and distracted the crap out of myself. But it looks like you indeed were right. 11 Banelings on the right side. This is going to be a huge attack coming on in.
No, Steadfast, you're right. It's a defensive build coming in from DRG. Defensively by, of course, oh, God! Okay, it doesn't actually change all that much. Look at well, actually it does.
Yes,
the supply
it changes a lot.
I'm looking at the supply. I'm like, wow, it's still massive. No, the army supply is very equal now. And with these queens at the front, transfuses can make a big difference here. What a move coming in from Elazer right now. He shuts down so much of this, but even still, it's a terrifying attack coming in from DRG. He's had more larva for so long, but Defender's advantage is going to carry through. And Steadfast, the supply kind of lied for a second there. At least it got to me. That was absolutely massive. And notice what Elazer did. He let the Banelings finish before he blew them up. He only had 2. 3 Banelings are what it takes to blow up a cocoon. It's 2 when they're done. So he let them complete before the Banelings connected, and that was every little bit of something that DRG had.
Was the sickest move I have seen in a ZVZ. That was so cool. I've never seen a player actually execute that and get every single Baneling with just 2 Banelings. That was picture perfect out of Elazer. Now, we've got to mention Elazer is super far down in drones. He is way behind in economy. But if he were to actually flip the script and go for the aggression right now, he could have maybe gotten a huge counterattack and gotten some damage done. Instead, he is droning behind us, and he's going to try and play catch up again. And I just don't think, well, I mean, if he goes right now, he can still maybe do it. He's got the much faster roach speed. Hang on. That is actually a big advantage. +1 is not yet done for DRG. Oh, no. Okay. Ooh. Thinking of Banelings. That was another Baneling that was almost huge. And during this, these Lings are actually going to be really important here for DRG to try and hold. Oh, as I say that, he is going to lose a few of them. There's no +1 missile for Elazer, so those Lings are at their maximum efficiency, without having like +1 melee of their own. There it is. There's the Banelings coming in from Elazer. He is down 20 drones, but he is up in army supply. A lot of wounded roaches for DRG, and he's got a 4th base that isn't going to matter at all. Ooh, Baneling's going to try and get in on top of the drone line. That might allow him to macro. But meanwhile, the roaches from Elazer, they're just flooding in. And there is more roaches on the side of Elazer right now. He is looking like he could just take the game right here, right now. Is DRG going to be able to get out enough to hold? It doesn't look like it.
Steadfast, it looked like DRG's hands just fell apart. He pulled the roaches, but the drones back. He tried to do something. His roaches weren't getting microed, and it's all down to that Baneling connection. I have never been more happy to be more wrong. What a comeback there from Elazer. What a play.